You know, in the world of artificial intelligence, a single year can feel like an entire decade. And 2025? Well, that was the year the undisputed king of AI suddenly found itself facing a full-blown rebellion. A rebellion that could literally change everything. So what on earth happened? Let's get into it.
For what feels like forever, one name has been totally synonymous with top-tier AI, OpenAI. I mean, their ChatGPT models, they haven't just been good, right? They've been the benchmark. They set the standard for what we all thought was possible. But the tech world moves at lightning speed, and now the big question is that reign finally about to end? Okay, so first up, let's talk about the reigning champ, ChatGPT. Coming into 2025, it really felt like OpenAI had this unbreakable grip on the AI world. But if you were looking closely, you could start to see some tiny cracks in the crown. I mean, OpenAI was just on an absolute tear, rolling out these huge updates at a crazy pace. You had GPT-5 in August promising to unify everything into one super smart system. Then, boom, GPT 5.1 in November, which was supposed to be, warmer and more conversational. And just a month after that, GPT 5.2 landed, honing in on deep, complex reasoning. From the outside, it looked like they had an iron grip on the market. But here's where it gets interesting. A funny thing happened. Despite all these flashy upgrades, the people actually using it were split. A lot of folks felt the new models were just kind of inconsistent, and some were even saying they were a step backward from the GPT 4.0 model they knew and loved. The crown was definitely starting to look a little tarnished. And you know what happens when cracks appear, right? They create an opening, and that opening gave rise to a whole new movement, the open-source rebellion. This wasn't just a new product, it was a fundamental challenge to big tech's control over AI. So what even is an open-source LLM? Well, think of it like this. Instead of a restaurant with a secret recipe locked in a vault, it's an open kitchen. The blueprints, the source code, the architecture, the training data, it's all out there for everyone to see, to use, to tweak, and to build on top of together.
And this comparison really gets to the heart of the matter. It's two completely different philosophies. On one side, you've got the closed black box of models like GPT, where one company calls all the shots. And on the other, you have these open, accessible models where anyone can jump in and innovation is driven by the entire community. This isn't just about code. It's a huge debate about who gets to build the future.
Which brings us to the main event, the clash of the titans. It's time for a real head-to-head showdown. How do these new open-source champions actually stack up against OpenAI's latest and greatest, GPT 5.2?
All right, let's look at the tail of the tape. Now, OpenAI is famously tight-lipped about its exact specs, but you can see right away that the open-source challengers are competing hard on the metrics that matter. Take a look at the context window. That's basically how much information the model can hold in its memory at once. Models like Kimi K2 are right there with GPT. And then you have Qwen3 with its absolutely massive 1 million token window. It's pushing the envelope way out. Seriously, the performance gap isn't just closing anymore. For a lot of tasks, it's basically gone.
And don't forget this point, because it's so important. Specs on a chart are one thing, but how it feels to use it is another. That consistent feedback, that OpenAI's brand new flagship model sometimes felt like a downgrade, well, that created a massive, wide-open door for these powerful and, just as importantly, accessible alternatives. And here's the real kicker. This isn't just talk. We're talking about actual results. On public benchmarks, the standardized tests for these AI models, challengers like Qwen3 are already outperforming established heavyweights like GPT 4.0. This is the proof that the open-source rebellion has some serious firepower. But this whole revolution goes even deeper than who's building the AI. It's about how it's being built. We're talking about a fundamental shift in the very architecture that has powered AI for years. We're moving beyond the transformer.
Okay, so since about 2017, pretty much every major AI you've ever heard of has been built on something called the transformer architecture. It's incredibly powerful, but it has one huge, glaring weakness. The more information you feed it, the slower and more expensive it gets. And I don't mean just a little bit. It gets exponentially worse. It's kind of like being in a meeting where every time a new person joins, they have to have a separate one-on-one chat with every single other person in the room. It just gets out of hand, fast. So now, meet the challenger. State Space Models, or SSMs for short. Instead of that chaotic meeting, think of this like a perfectly efficient assembly line for data. It processes information in a straight, linear fashion, which makes it dramatically faster and way more efficient, especially for generating long responses. And this right here shows you the difference perfectly. The transformer's cost just explodes. The SSM scales in a nice, predictable line. Now for you, this isn't just some abstract chart. This means faster answers, it means being able to analyze massive documents without the system grinding to a halt, and ultimately, it means more powerful AI becomes cheaper and more accessible for every single one of us. This is a total game changer.
You know, the famous paper that kicked off the whole transformer revolution was titled "Attention is All You Need." But as these incredible new architectures start to prove their worth, it really feels like that era might just be drawing to a close. So, we've got a war over who builds AI and a revolution in how that AI is built. But let's get down to it. Why does any of this actually matter to you? Well, because this new wave of faster, cheaper, more customizable AI isn't just staying in some research lab. It's already out here transforming entire industries. Let's just take a quick look at how this is playing out in some key areas. For example, in healthcare and pharma.
We're seeing AI create personalized treatment plans based on an individual's unique data. It's automating all that tedious medical transcription, which frees up doctors to actually focus on their patients. And because of this new efficiency, it's speeding up the design of new life-saving drugs. This stuff isn't science fiction anymore. It's happening right now.
And the impact is just as huge in the world of finance and insurance, where we now have fraud detection that learns and adapts to new threats in real time. We have claims getting processed in minutes instead of weeks. Just imagine getting investment advice that's hyper-personalized, not just to your long-term goals, but to your financial situation as it changes day by day.
And it's not just the digital world either. In manufacturing,
AI is completely changing how we make physical things. It can predict when a machine on a factory floor is about to break down, preventing these massively expensive shutdowns. It can simulate thousands of new product designs in an afternoon, or figure out the most efficient way to run a global supply chain. The theme here is crystal clear: more efficiency, more intelligence, and more personalization across the board.
Which brings us right back to that huge central question. A new generation of AI is here. It's more powerful, more efficient than anything we've ever seen before. But as we stand right here at this massive turning point, the biggest question of all is still unanswered. Who gets to build it? Is the future of intelligence going to be shaped behind the closed doors of a single company, or is it going to be built out in the open by all of us together?